Hey, it's me, Unapologetically T, and I'm back with another poem. Psych, I'm not. I'm just so used to saying that. I'm actually here, and you know, I've been on this journey of like so many things. I've been learning how to grieve. I've been learning how to love myself. I've been learning how to I'm just relearning life a lot, and then there's some things that I'm learning completely new. um Self-love is one of the ones I'm learning new. Grief is one of the ones that I'm relearning. I think as a child I always understood death and grief, just because I did have like near death experiences, but I still think like there's a part of me that was very deeply um detached from feeling my feelings, which I don't think had anything to do with death. It just had everything to do with life and who I was living life with. So I really became detached from my feelings. Um I wouldn't say like on some full blown narcissistic stuff, but I think like really full blown detachment when it came to how things affected me. But I was always able to care for and about others, but not necessarily how I was feeling. So I suppressed emotions a whole lot. But this just have been a it's been quite a journey. It really happened at a fast freaking pace. And I guess that it goes along with, me being used to living life very fast. I think like if you're paying attention in the world right now, like a lot of this stuff is moving like super fast. A lot of people are having a hard time adjusting. All I can say is you either adapt or you get lost. It's that's the way that things are going right now. So there's a lot of shifts. There's a lot of like different timelines happening. And I am just so happy for the people who made it in my timeline. Um, I'm grateful and thankful for that. New beginnings for sure. I literally have been transparent. Like I still have these human feelings. Like I still struggle with anxiety. I still struggle with, sometimes wanting to get out of bed. Um so like those things, I want to be transparent and be like, oh, like it is literally not like I was zapped and cured. This has been a process. This has been a process, and I am still going through the process, and just learning that, life period is going to always be these processes. Like it is not about the final destination, because the final destination is always evolving. And one of the things I like to like point out is like when you set these goals, you like, once I do this, I'm gonna be happy. But if you're not happy while you're trying to accomplish these goals, once you set them and once you actually hit your mark, you're still not going to be happy. And I think that's the purpose of the journey. The purpose of the journey is for you to realize that you already have everything you need within. And it doesn't matter where you are in life. It doesn't matter, who's trying to attach themselves to you, what your environment looks like. You have everything you need within. One of the things that we fail to realize and we don't give ourselves enough credit for is that we are made in God's image. So if we're made in God's image, then you have to realize that God has made you a creator as well. And you can create things for the best, you can create things for the worst, you can also like not create at all and allow earth to miss out on your beautiful your beauty that's within, the things that you can bring forward. And I was having a conversation with two people who kept saying like, I don't identify as an artist. It doesn't matter whether you identify as an artist or not. We are all artists. We are all artists. We are all creators. We create something. something, somehow, some way. And it's just that a lot of people don't realize that art is all of this. Art is the way that God paints the sky each day. Art is the way the wind blows the trees and they sway. Like, art is so much, and we don't realize it within ourselves. So like, one of the people I was talking to, she was like, but I'm just not an artist. And it was just like, I love like appreciating art, but I'm just not an artist. But then she started dancing, and I was like, but dance is an art form. You're creating, movements. And not only are you creating movements, back in the day, those movements meant something. When bees dance, those movements mean something. It is not just chaos going on in the beehive. That means something. It's vibrations. You're allowing the vibrations of sound waves to take your body and create something out in the physical far as movements. And you're releasing things when you are dancing. So it is just, dance is a beautiful art form that doesn't get credit. Like, it is so fucking beautiful to watch people dance and what they're going to come up with. When I was going through so much, baby, I hadn't danced in years. Like, I hadn't danced. I forgot I could dance. Like, and I have forgot I could dance. Like, I have forgot. And when I started trying to dance, like, I was so stiff. I was so, like, tight and all that stuff. Like, my hips and shit wasn't moving the way I, like, used to move them. And it was just like, stagnant, stuck energy. And I could feel like the more that I would just dance and not give a fuck about what it looked like and just let the music take me away, like, each day, that stiffness, that stagnant energy would be released. And we had a lot of like trauma and all that stuff in our body. What we fail to realize is that a lot of the internal stuff, it affects the physical body. And that's why we usually show on the outside what is going on in the inside. And some people's body doesn't always do that, but it might pop up as a physical ailment. One of the ones that I can give you an example of is I have struggled with IBS. I think the first signs of it started when I was pregnant. But and I would say it even started before then, but it got worse when I was pregnant. So yeah, so I've even like had a gallbladder removed, and I mean, like, I was about to die. And I kept saying that something was wrong, but I kept getting turned away from the fucking emergency room. Go figure, because I'm not, bleeding, broken, and bruised, but literally I could have died. And so literally I was having gut issues. Now that I am getting better and better, I'm starting to realize I was having gut issues because of the anxiety, the fear, the dealing with abusers, like dealing with abusers and not releasing what I felt, and just always trying to brace myself when I had to deal with these people. And like, now it's like my gut has calmed down tremendously. Now I'm still having problems with eating this American food. We all know this American food ain't right. Like, I'll tell you quick, I went to Haiti, didn't have a fucking problem eating there, and they cook with grease. And it didn't feel like this. It didn't feel like this when I eat this American food. However, even outside of eating, because I would have these flare-ups, like, even outside of eating, like, just being stressed out by other people, like, would literally cause me stomach issues. Just severe stomach issues, like, really, 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 really bad stomach issues. So now that I kind of like gotten, you know, more control over my own self, and stop allowing others to have control over me, I'm not having those reactions as much. It is far less than what it was at first. And I hope one day that, you know, like I won't have to worry about it at all. So, but yeah, this journey, I do want to talk about like self-love and boundaries. I might just make a separate video for boundaries, and then I'll also make a separate video because I wanted to get into menstrual cycles, because we need to have a conversation about that. I don't care whether you're male or female. We have to have a conversation about this. But self-love will be the topic of today. Self-love has been such a grueling journey. It's been grueling, but it has been so freaking beautiful at the same time. Like, literally, I am just, you know, like, I am just so much different than what I was when I first started out. And that's even before I started making these videos, y'all. Like, I started this healing journey before I started making these videos. It was just like, these videos, when I started making the videos, like, shit had got accelerated. It was like, all right, now you have learned over these last 7+ years what you needed to learn to help fix yourself. And you have tried to fix everybody else but yourself. Like, it's time for you to work on you. And I wasn't getting it. I wasn't getting it still. I was still looking externally for love, right? So I was just looking externally for love, which I will say, you know, like, I think it's understandable that I would have wanted people around while I was grieving. I had no one, for real. Like, I had no one. It was just me and my daughter, and both of us was going through it. But, and I had, you know, some sisters bring by food, one time. And outside of that, like, a girl had no one. So, I would try to go out to others, and try to, like, you know, get some reprieve from just focusing on grief and stuff like that. I would use social media, just to, like, have a break from grief, like, because grief came, and it wasn't just Dante death, it was all of the other deaths too. We had a dog, which was like our kid. I lost her, I lost him, I lost siblings, like some shitty siblings. I lost my grandma. I lost a lot. And then I also lost other family members that wasn't like in my close network, but they were still family, and I still lost them and loved them. And yeah, it was a lot of deaths. It was a lot of deaths. I experienced a lot of deaths in a short period of time. Back to back to back to back. I mean, it was a long period of time because it was years, but it was like back to back to back. It was like, when am I going to get a break? Even after Dante has passed, I've lost some shit of family members. I would say it's not as close, but I've lost some shit of family members. So, I have lost people who are living still. Like, I can't fuck with you no more. And I say that with all due respect. Like, it's no ill will. That's another thing that I am so happy for self-love. Like, when I started these videos, I be looking back on these videos, y'all, like, I was angry. I was extremely angry. Like, this was past just my regular, like, angry, you know, me. Because, yeah, I think there's just a little bit of anger that's gonna always be with a girl. But, I was really, really angry. Like, I thank God for not allowing me to act on that anger in the ways that I wanted to. Because it was definitely in the moment, emotions. Because, like, now that everything has happened and I am focusing on myself, all the things that people have done to me that was real fucked up and all that shit, like, you gotta answer to God. You gotta answer to God. You gotta live on this planet. You gotta be here and deal with your karma. You have to deal with your karma. you have to deal with my ancestors and my spirit squad in the spiritual realm. Like, you have made your bed and you gotta lay in it. The same way I've made my bed and I had to lay in mine, and I had to walk through the fire multiple times with my stuff, is the same way you gotta make your bed. And you gotta deal with what you've done. So, like, I don't say this in any disrespect. I don't say this in any mal intention. Like, it's no ill will on my end. I have forgiven me for allowing people to mistreat me and thinking that it was okay to still be in my life. Like, I was definitely conditioned as a child to think that this was okay. But it's not okay. And I'm at that point where, like, I am a grown up now and I'm going to protect myself like I should have received protection as a child. And, yeah, so there's people I had to grieve that is still alive. And, because I had disorganized attachment, it was hard to let people go because I felt like, well, if I let the shitty people go, then I'll have no one. Because I had low self-worth. I felt like I was tainted because of all the stuff that had happened to me. I knew that I had anger issues, and that shit pops out when I feel slighted, and I didn't have good communication skills to verbalize, you hurt my feelings when. And now I can do that, though. Like, I can really say, you hurt my feelings. I can say why you hurt my feelings. I can even say how the situation made me feel, because I know that I have to use I statements. I have to use I statements about how I feel and not about necessarily the other person, but what the situation brought up for me. So yeah. But yeah, once I started to realize, like, you're not really losing people. You're actually freeing up space to have more beautiful things fall in place. That definitely helped ease a lot of the pain of letting go of people, because I felt like I was losing people or I was going to be alone. Another big self-love moment is, why the fuck was I so scared of being alone? Like, I'm a dope ass person, and being alone has actually been a blessing, and it has been something I actually have been wanting. I've literally been wanting to be alone. But I was scared to be alone. I was scared to death of being alone, and I actually wanted to be alone. There is so much freedom in having the space and the time to sit with yourself, to know what you want. I'm still learning how to sit with self, and don't get me wrong, I've always sat with myself, but I didn't always have the skills to process what that means, what that looks like. There's always, yes, I always spend time alone, but I was always distracted by other stuff. So I never really wanted to sit with the thoughts in my head and or sit with me, and that would cause extreme anxiety and running and racing thoughts. And it's like, now my thoughts are my thoughts, and I don't know, it's like a self-mastery that's happening now. And it's a beautiful thing to master oneself. Once you master yourself, like, there's nothing else that you need to master. You've mastered self, you've mastered everything. So, and definitely for a person like me, because I've already mastered people. Shit, mastermind and reading and seeing people before they come. Like, a lot of people thought I was a fool because I wouldn't speak on certain stuff, or like I wouldn't check you right away. Like, I saw you, like, I mean, it's easy as 1, 2, 3 and ABC. Like, I've dealt with people like you since I was a very small child. Like, I saw you. I felt sorry for you. And it's a big difference between, I mean, you could still say one is a fool to feel sorry for somebody else and not themselves, but I wasn't a foolish because I lacked the ability to see you. I saw you, felt sorry for you. And it was a movie I watched. I forgot. It was called Joshua, and it was kind of like one of those omen movies of like the Antichrist, and this family had adopted this boy, and he was the Antichrist, and he was trying to kill their baby and all this shit, and like he put them through so much hell. And then at the end of the movie, he told, the father was like pleading to him, because I think Joshua was about to kill him, and I can't remember like who was about to kill who, but I think Joshua was about to kill the father. And it was like the father's like kind of like pleading to him, like, you know, we have been so good to you, we brought you in our home, and you know, like da 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 da, like why would you do this to us? Like, and Joshua looked that man dead in the eye and said, and Joshua represents all these people who are parasitic in nature, all these people who are energy vampires, all these people who are just not great people. They're not giving back. They're not beneficial. It's not reciprocity. It is just take. Joshua represented that, and Joshua basically stared them in the eyes and said, you know, while you were busy feeling sorry for me, you should have been feeling sorry for yourself. And I think he killed him, man. Like, if I can remember correctly, because I watched that movie like years and years ago, like very long time ago. So every time I think about allowing someone to take advantage of me, I think about Joshua now. Like, while I'm over there feeling sorry for you, I need to see and feel sorry for myself about how this decision to fuck with you gonna turn out for me. So that's all about self-awareness and self-love and protection. So getting back to the self-love piece, is self-love isn't always just pouring into your cup. Like, I felt like that's what I thought self-love was, like doing all these different things, and that leaves me feeling full and loved. But I'm finding out on this journey that self-love has been, for me, also standing up for myself. And I don't mean no rah, you know, like how I used to have to stand up for myself in the streets. I mean, like, literally assertively saying, hey, look, we're not gonna do this. Hey, look, you're not the right fit for me. Hey, look, you know, like, I'm good on friendship with you. We don't have to be friends, and we don't have to be enemies. Like, that's one of the things, like, that's fucking interesting to me. Like, we don't have to beef, you know, like, because you don't want it, number one. Like, you don't want these problems, number one. And number two, we just don't have to. Can we agree that you are not for me and I'm not for you? I know my energy is fucking bomb. And I'm learning that. Like, girl, like, your energy, your presence alone. Fuck the meat suit. Even though I love my meat suit. So meat suit, don't take that as a bad thing. Forget about the body. My energy alone shifts shit. So why would I waste my time with things that are low vibrational? Why would I keep doing that over and over and over and over and over again? But I am desiring high vibrational things. Like, I am desiring high vibrational things. And that doesn't mean that I am never low vibrational. Like, bitch, I'm low vibrational a lot of times. But I'm not the type of person that wants to put my low vibrations onto other people. I'm not trying to hurt other people because I'm hurting. Typically, I try to remove myself back most of the time. Now, last year, I was just out mingling. Like, I was out mingling. I was trying to feel better, not realizing that I had everything within me to feel better. So, you know, if I ever crossed your path last year and I had some low vibes, like, you know, I apologize, but I had to do what I had to do to figure out how to get here. So, and it's okay if a person said, hey, look, the way you showed up, I can't fuck with it. I have to be okay with that. Like, that is your God-given right. It ain't no ill will. It ain't no beef. Thank you for whatever part you played in my life. I gotta keep going. You gotta keep going. And that's how it just gotta be. But that has been my most favorite part of self-love, is like boundaries, assertiveness, like being able to assertively say how I feel without being unhinged. Because I can be unhinged sometimes. But I really love being able to be assertive. I mean, they still gonna call me a bitch because I'm a female. So either way. So, but I am enjoying the assertiveness. Like, if you want to get unhinged, then something wrong with you anyway. But I love the assertiveness that has been showing up and in. I've always had to be in this masculine energy, even though I am woman and I prefer softness. I prefer being able to like just tap into my creativity, just create. I just love to just be able to create. I love using my intuition, and I love being tapped in up here. I love my healing powers. Like, I love that the gifts of healing that I've been afforded is so fucking beautiful, and I don't have to give my energy to do it. Just learning that like the healing comes from God, and I'm not losing or gaining anything when I am healing. So I love that. I love that. I just love me getting to have balance with both. Like, I like my masculine energy and I like my feminine energy. It's just knowing which one should show up, and when they should merge, and when they should have some type of when they should be extreme, when they should be a little level-headed, like. But it's just fun doing that. Another part of my self-love has been self-validation. My reality is so fucking out there, like, y'all. I'm convinced that I am an alien. Like, y'all be talking about extraterrestrials. We're here, bitch. Like, we're here. Like, I'm convinced. It was a podcast I saw. I know Elon ain't in everybody's favor right now, but I remember him joking about, like, I am an alien, like, you know, like, but I do believe that, like, all of us are not from here. We're just born here. We sign contracts to be here. We signed up for this shit. We signed up to change the vibration of this earth, because whatever was here is bringing it down, man. It is bringing it all the way down, man. And, you know, I'm happy that I took this mission to be here. But by me being on a whole nother wavelength, like, I'm not always understood by people. And I'm learning that, like, what I be seeing and what I be hearing and what messages I receive from other people, sometimes some people don't even remember the message they gave me. Sometimes I don't remember the message I gave them. Sometimes when I say something to someone, like, they're like, what the fuck is she talking about? And I have to be okay with that. Like, maybe they will understand this message some other time, when it's the right time, because right now they're not there. But I'm starting to learn that, like, I have to trust my own reality. I can't sit here and try to fit in with everybody else. What I am perceiving and what I am seeing is real for me. It might not be real for you. I think that's the problem with the world now. Everything is so cookie cutter and so dry cut. Like, everything is so uniform, that everybody is thinking the same. There is no critical thinking. There is no discernment. There is no in between. There's just, right and wrong, and logic, or what's the other one? Logic or emotions, or feelings, whatever. But there's no in between. There's no marrying of it. There is no considering different vantage points or perspectives. Like, there's none of that. And so we lack collaboration on this planet, because everybody is not supposed to see everything the same way, at all. Like, and I had to learn that. Like, it crushed my feelings when someone was like, basically they didn't see the things that I was seeing, and it crushed my feelings, and it kind of made me feel like I was going crazy. And it's like, now I know I'm not going crazy. Like, I am coming into myself, and not only am I coming into myself, I have settled into myself, and I'm happy that I chose to be here, because I didn't want to be. And I've been clear about that in these videos. Like, I didn't want to be here. I didn't want the titles that was given to me. I didn't want the responsibilities that was being bestowed upon me. I didn't want it. And a lot of people probably would kill to have what I have, or they would sell their soul to have what I have. And that's given to me naturally. But I have been through so much to get it. Like, I have been through so much to, not even just been through so much to get it. I feel like that was already there. It was just that, like, I went through so much to have to understand let me think about this, like, really. I went through so much to have to understand how truly, how truly, like, worthy I am. And not only was I going through these things to learn my own worth, but I'm also going through these things because I had to learn that, like, I can't take everyone with me. I can't save everyone. Matter of fact, it's no longer my responsibility to be a savior. I am not doing the savior thing anymore. It's time for me to save myself. And if you need saving, you need to believe in something within yourself and outside of you. It goes both ways, within yourself and outside of you. Within yourself and outside of you. But I would say that I found my healing and my saving within. But I've also found healing and validation without. Like, I found these things within and without, and I think that's the beautiful part. Like, your inside will match your outside, but if you focus solely on your outside and your inside is off, your outside you're never going to be satisfied with. There are plenty of people who have the things they've always desired, and they just keep wanting more and more and more and more. But because they're not happy within, they are not satisfied with without. So I don't know. I went through all these things. There were lessons for me. There were lessons for me to understand how to utilize my gifts that I was given at birth, or also acquired through these lessons. But they were definitely everything I've been through is for a reason. It was for a purpose. No matter how fucking harsh and disgusting it is, me going through what I went through, like, to tell my story and help someone else, that's where I'm at. That's the help I can lend. I can help you by letting you know you're not alone, letting you know that you can get through this. Because I keep saying, like, I was one of those people, I didn't want to be here anymore. Like, it had got so hard because I wasn't dealing with what had happened. There is this movement on Instagram called Tell Somebody. So if you have been sexually abused, even if you've just been abused, period, because I was both. I have been sexually abused, physically abused, emotionally abused. I have been all of it. And I literally just want to share that Instagram page with people, because she started this because she had been sexually abused, and I found it. I found my way to that. I have posted my story on there, and she's made this page, and it is helping others come out and tell people. Like, to tell is freeing. To tell is freeing. And no, the work doesn't just stop with telling, but to tell, it frees a lot up off of your soul. It wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault. If you told back then and no one listened to you, it still wasn't your fault. You should have been protected. You should have been listened to. But please, if you tell someone and they don't receive it right, go tell somebody else. Go tell somebody else. Go find your safe space and tell somebody else. What's happening to you is not normal. If it already happened, it's not normal to have to endure that in silence. We have to break our silence about all types of abuse, but sexual abuse has been holding us definitely. And it's men and women. Men are less likely to tell than women, but no one has this conversation, and a lot of things have happened to little boys at a very young age, and it has caused. This is not to say that, like, sexual abuse causes homosexuality. I'm pretty sure you could have some psychological effects on it. It has some psychological effects on me, just being touched by other kids that was actually my age. So but just feeling like, I didn't want it, and but feeling like I had to, endure that. So, but just imagine being a child and you're being, sexually abused, and you can't say anything about it. You're gonna have, some type of confusion. Not gonna, because everything is different for everybody, but you might have some type of confused or mixed feelings about your sexuality. You might become hypersexual in the sense of, this happens to girls as well. Like, it's not just about the sexes, but I find a lot of compassion in my heart for boys and men who have been sexually abused, because a lot of them are not allowed to talk about it, or are even being seen in the context that they can be sexually abused. I know when I was growing up, my mom and the news also, like, perpetuated the fact that men couldn't be sexually abused because I guess, like, in order for them to have sex, they would have to be sexually aroused, unless it was some type of other penetration. But, like, if someone was doing something that in order for them to, like, get there, they would have to be into it themselves. And it's just so fucking stupid. It is the stupidest shit I've ever heard. But go off, society. They even used to tell women that they weren't raped if they were married. Like, bullshit. Like, if you said no to any fucking man, I don't care if it was your husband or not, that is rape. Like, that is a rape. And that's one thing that I did not have to deal with in my relationship with my deceased partner. I don't know. Like, we had conversations about sexual abuse with me, but I never went into full-fledged detail about nothing. I think he knew that, like, something was, up with me. And we would have slight conversations about it, about, like, people who were not my family members. So I never talked about being abused by people in the family. But I would say, like, stuff that happened after the fact. So he knew about the after the fact stuff, but he did not know. But he kind of got some clues and felt some weird ways himself, and was like, something off about your family. And I definitely was like, I did not disagree. Like, I did not disagree, but I never went into full-fledged, this is what happened when I was a kid. I did let him know about the story of when I first had my daughter and I bent over. My dad was stirring up my ass, and my mom basically, called him a dirty dog, but told me I needed to use my knees. Like, bitch, I just had a baby. I don't feel like using my knees, and my dad should look away. Like, turn your fucking head. But then when she did not, stand up for me, and then I wasn't able to stand up for me because I was never able to stand up for me in that situation, it kind of made me feel like, it was my fault, so I need to use my knees when I'm around men, or I am going to be victimized. Like, I am going to be left feeling violated. So it was just the grossest shit ever, like, that the victim is the problem. The victim is the problem. The victim is the problem. And not the predator. So anyway, back to the topic though. I do think that he realized, like, and he had stuff against people who would do things to kids. However, he had like a warped view about age limits when girls were teenagers. Like, he had a warped view about that. Like, and I think that is a cultural fucked up thing that a lot of these men have a warped view about. Like, they look at 16 and 17 like that's a borderline, it's okay. And it's not okay, because you wouldn't want nobody doing that to your daughter. And I had a warped view about that because I was raised into that little culture of, 16, 17. And I was a mature 16, 17-year-old. Then, not to mention, my grandparents got married, and my grandma was a teenager, and my grandfather was a grown-ass man. So, my views on age limits and stuff were warped, and they're not anymore. Like, let that baby be a child. Let that baby be a child, because even though I was working and doing all these things, like, at 16 or 17, I was still a child. I was still a child, and I thank God for certain men who viewed me as a child, like, saw me as a child. Thank you. Thank you. There's also men I've protected, and I was like, I'm a child. I am a child. Like, I've done that too. So yeah, literally in our relationship, like, I literally, if he wanted it and I was not, if the hot and ready light was off for me, I used to say rape. Like, that would be my safe word, like, rape. Like, don't touch me no more. Like, get up off of me. I literally, like, have to scream, like, no, like, I don't, no. And so he would know that. Like, he would know, like, oh, she not playing. But for him, like, he would say rape and it would be funny. Like, he would be in a joking way saying it. And for me, though, that shit was real. Like, it's like, rape, no, stop. Like, so I never had to deal with, like, him doing that and I wasn't consenting. But it is rape, even if it's your husband. If you are literally saying no and this person is still aggressively taking it, that is rape. And I don't mean, y'all into kink or cosplay or, well, not cosplay, but, role play or any of that stuff. And you got your little odd little kinks and stuff. I think every relationship is entitled to, have sexual liberation the way you want to. But I'm talking about you literally don't want this. That's rape. I don't even know how I got here when I was talking about self-love, but this is a part of my self-love, is telling these stories and helping others know that they're not alone. It definitely allows me to free my soul up of all of those things that I felt made me feel unworthy, because, like, literally I was touched by both parental figures that should have protected me and loved me in a different kind of way. So, and I wouldn't call that love at all, but, I definitely, I definitely can't say that, like, that stuff don't bother me anymore. Of course it would, when it comes up or when I think about it, but it just doesn't have the same hold on me like it used to. Like, it has gotten tremendously better. It doesn't leave me in a chokehold when I think about it. I'm not gonna allow none of them to rob me of a happy life. They have robbed themselves of their happiness, but they're not gonna rob my happiness anymore. My life is my life, and I'm gonna live my life for me. And I won't be living it angry and mad at them for the rest of my time here. I feel like I've gotten to go back and watch those videos, and oh my gosh, the rage, the anger, like it was so raw, it was so real, it needed to be felt. Sometimes it still comes up. I can't lie to you guys. Like sometimes the shit still comes up. And I think it's supposed to, right? Like it's supposed to, but it's finding ways to transmute that. Because like I said, I am not going to allow them to dictate my happiness in life. So you're not going to steal my happiness by holding me in constant anger and in constant regret and constant fear. You're not going to do that. So when I do have like anger and rage come up, I just try to transmute it. As you can see, one of my favorite things to do is write. I love writing. I love doing these videos and being transparent with y'all. I love like coloring. I love painting. I just love doing a whole lot of shit. And I realize that too. Self-love has afforded me to see that. Like, you do so much. You do so much. It doesn't be looking like you're doing a lot, but you do so much. And literally I've had to start making like these lists of I call them to-dos, and then I go back and look at what I actually done today. So what have I actually accomplished today? And just looking at that, I mean, like, oh, you do a lot throughout the day. You was thinking that you didn't do a lot, you didn't contribute a lot. When you really, like, you're a boss. Like, you literally be doing this, that. And I just don't see it the same, because when I was working a 9 to 5, like, you literally, for me, when I work the job, I'm literally trying to be productive all day until I get off. I didn't even like taking the breaks. I was like, let me just get this work done. and that's how it was at work. But it's like, now that like at that type of work, now that I'm navigating doing things for myself and putting that same energy into myself, I don't always see it the same way, because I'm not, completing these tasks for someone else. I'm completing them for myself. And if I have low self-worth and all that stuff, then I'm not going to see what I'm putting in. But now I'm starting to see that, like, oh, you put in a whole lot. But it's for you. It's for you. It's for what you got going on. So you don't always see it. And I'm realizing that now. And it's been beautiful and eye-opening. But yeah. Yeah, sexual abuse has been one of the ones that held me in a chokehold. Also, when I first started these videos, I talked about how abortion had me in a chokehold. Something I deeply regretted. But I had to forgive myself, and it was something that like I always just held in and just never really, I just always, it was almost like punishing myself. Like, I held on to like that. I did that, and I, unalived my own child, and like this was my self-punishment. That's why I did the poem on guilt and shame, because guilt and shame can have you, it can create a hole for you, and it'll have you keep climbing back into that hole. I don't think that, I have to make an amends with myself and with others does not require guilt and shame for me to see that I need to make amends. I can make amends based on that I am aware that I hurt you. I am aware that I hurt myself. I can reflect, but guilt and shame kind of like, it's like a self-inflicted punishment and torture that you create for yourself. And I'm just at this point where I'll let God handle the punishment for me, like, and for others. I'll let God handle the punishment for me and for others in this 3D world. Now in that spiritual world, whatever happens, because certain things I can do. But in this 3D world, I'll let God reflect what you deserve and what I deserve. Okay. So that's where I'm at. Self-love has been beautiful. Literally, self-love has showed up for me telling myself I love myself. Self-love for me has showed up by not battling myself internally. No longer am I going to war with me. The parts of me that needed to stay are here to stay. We've done a merger. And the parts of me that needed to go can go. And rest in peace. And this stuff is ever evolving. How I am and what I feel right now will be different from a year from now, from 6 months from now. So it's always ever evolving, but I'm just happy that I am focused on loving myself now. One of the hardest parts of having to do this journey is doing it in a toxic environment. I will say that whenever everything is all over, like, I never will ever look back. I'm thankful for whatever lessons family members taught me, but like, I'm good on that. I'm thankful for my chosen family and for the very few family members that made the cut for me. So saying all of that, like, I am in a space of self-love. I am in a space of growth. Just appreciating growth. It'd be the smallest things. It'd be the smallest things that I can see, like, different from last year. But yeah. Today is kind of like a rainy day. Typically on rainy days, I like to chill. I like to go outside in the rain sometimes. So, but on a rainy day, I typically like to chill. So I probably will just do some things for myself today. Tomorrow I got some things I need to do. But other than that, I'm going to focus on the right now. I'm going to focus on the within and also reflecting that without. But yeah, self-love. Thank you. I'm so happy that I finally got to love myself and see what that feel like. Self-love has been the best love I've ever experienced so far. Like, who's better to love me than me? And I never was ever afforded that. Like, I've never felt this before. Like, the way that I love others was actually the way I wanted to be loved. I wanted to be loved unconditionally. And I finally get to love me unconditionally, no matter how I show up. Like, I love you, girl. I understand where you're coming from. Because it's crazy that I was doing that for other people, but I was never doing it for myself. Like, I was hard on myself. I was super judgmental on myself. Very, very judgmental on myself. But always making excuses for others. This is weird. So now I get to love me the way I love other people. And it feels great. It really does. This is bigger than, like, material things. This is like things that money cannot buy. Money cannot buy it at all. So if you're on a self-healing, self-love journey, self-validation, I'm out there, y'all. Like, I'm a weirdo in a good way. I'm out there. I'll say some things. I don't typically say a lot of things. Well, maybe some people feel like I do, but I'm more out there than what I even show y'all on here. Like, I have visions. I have, like, all this different stuff, and I don't be always knowing what to do with it. I'm learning more how to, like, not control it, but to allow it to flow and not second guess it or not just project out vomit it onto people. But just finding that in between and that balance. I hear voices. Like, I don't hear, voices that tell me to do bad things or anything like that, but I definitely hear, I call it like messages, downloads, all that stuff. I look at it more spiritual than I do on the psychology end. Like, I definitely am tapped into a spiritual realms, multiple spiritual realms, maybe like all of them. So I literally am embracing the gifts that I used to run from, my dreams, all that stuff. Like, I am embracing that. One of my favorite gifts I share with y'all all the time is Reiki. Like, I always get good feedback from Reiki, but it's not even just about the feedback. It's like, even when I do Reiki on myself, like, I feel it. Like, it is the most insane thing in the world. Like, I'm just like, oh. So I really do want to get into that. I need to get a massage table. And I think I want to do traveling Reiki, where I travel to people and do Reiki on them. I think that would be dope. But I don't know yet. When I usually typically give out things that I'm doing, I don't care. That means that is a shared idea. Even if someone, says, oh, that's a good idea, I want to do it. Like, nobody can do what I do, and I can't do confirmation. I can't do what you do. I can't do it like you do it. So I really don't care if, someone takes that and be like, yeah, that's a good idea. Like, you're going to have your flair. I'm going to have my flair. So I'm not threatened. This is not, for me, I'm not competing with nobody. I'm not even competing with myself anymore. I'm just being. I'm just okay with being right now. And that's just that. Like, just flowing, moving and grooving. I do realize, like, something about the environment I'm in, I have to fight to have my energy levels the way that they need to be. I definitely could tell, like, my energy be trying to get siphoned. So I literally do have to call back my power a lot in this environment. Because it's like a fight, and it's like only in that environment. Like, I have, stayed at other people places, and it's just like, when I get there, like, I can just tell how exhausted I am because I've been fighting to, like, not be not allow my energy to be drained, and I'm just fighting to, like, be productive and not just waste away. But when I go to someone else's house, like, I could tell, like, just from one night at someone else's house, like, number one, I sleep immediately. Like, I will go to sleep immediately. Then not only do I go to sleep immediately, like, I wake up refreshed. I've never really feel like that in this environment that I am now. But there's a lot of energy in there that is very negative and parasitic in nature. And I'm constantly cleansing and constantly, trying to focus on myself. Yeah. So when it's time, it's time. I don't even be fighting it no more. Like, I done tried to leave prematurely, and I had to end up sitting it right back down. So whatever I was supposed to get out of this situation, either I haven't gotten it yet, or it just still, things are slowly developing. I mean, I'm proud of myself. It is giving me strength because, like, I always thought, like, you can heal in a toxic environment. You can heal in a toxic environment. And I think that's why a lot of people aren't healing, because they feel like, you know, what's the point? But there is a point. You don't have to be who you are, you know, be like who you are around. And you really can put up these boundaries. And I think that has been the most beautiful thing, is that I can set boundaries in this toxic as fuck environment, and my boundaries are literally working now, because my boundaries have nothing to do with the people I'm surrounded by. My boundaries have everything to do about me and how I am going to respond to different things, not how I want other people to respond to things. So my boundaries are about how I'm going to show up and what I'm going to tolerate. And simply, like, if I don't agree with it or I want to tolerate it, then I will literally distance myself, even in a toxic environment. So one of my things is, like, not arguing with foods, because, you know, you could have a wise man and a fool arguing, and from a distance, you know, nobody can tell who's who. So I'm deciding to not just be the bigger person. It's not about being the bigger person. It's about preserving my peace, preserving my energy, because that's another way people siphon energy from you. Like, they literally pick arguments. You know, that's attention, that's energy. They're getting what they want regardless. Like, and I noticed that is a lot what happens in my environment. It's a lot of, like, picking, a lot of mind games. And I chuckle and laugh at that shit, because I'm a mind game player, and it's like, I see why I like playing mind games, because my parents played mind games with me all the time, and I was a child. And it's sad that you played mind games with a child, but you made a monster. You made a monster, because now, not only do I know how to play mind games, I know not how to play them. I know that I'm not playing this game with you. Like, that's the way you win a mind game, is to not play that shit with the, like, cut, we're done. You gonna have to play this game by yourself, and going back over there and play it with yourself, because you ain't gonna play it with me. So yeah, don't feed into a lot of the negativity if you are living in a toxic environment. But I'm gonna head on out. Probably rest for the rest of the day, since I said, like, it's a rainy day. Probably rest, maybe write, maybe finally try to finish doing my hair. It's been like I think I'd had this, like, it's like half of it is done, like this side, and then half is done. And I've probably had it in for like 2 weeks now. But I'm getting there. Eyes are getting the... I just wanted a protective hairstyle, so I could just oil my hair and call it a day. But it's been a journey just trying to get it done. Yeah, it's been a journey. But I got some things I need to do anyway, so but I think I'm gonna chill today. I really do think I'm gonna chill today. I probably just do my hair and watch TV. Just chill. Have a chill day. Can't eat yet. I can't eat till after sunset. So I'll be, working on that. When I do get hungry, I try to check myself, talk to God, get me through. Like I said, it's not even just the hunger that's the hardest part. It is the water. The water. But all right. I am gonna go. I know my time is coming. And I'm thankful for the journey, the process. the love that I have received from people, and also just knowing who won't be coming. Having a clear view of who won't be coming, and not just having a clear view of who won't be coming, having a clear view of seeing these people and other people. That's dope to me. So being able to see these people, like, oh, I know who you is. You remind me of my mother. Try again. But all right.